Welcome back. We've already added the client-side validation to this login form. So if we click on this, we can see the error message, and if we try to add some dummy values, we click on it, we still see the error messages. Now also there's one thing we need to note. We can, instead of having just this as just a plain text with red color, what we can do is we can add a bootstrap alert message, but we're going to do that later. So what we want to work on now is the server side. We want to enable the user, when they input their email and their password, the correct email and correct password, allow them to log in into the application. What we are going to be doing is we're going to be retrieving the data from the sign up table that we have. But if the data is not found, then we'll display an error. So we go into our test editor. Now the first thing we are going to be doing is, inside the scripts folder, we can create a new folder or a new file called login.php. Because if we check our Ajax or our login.js under the Ajax method, we see that we used login.php. So because we are sending the data from here to the login.php. So inside the login.php, the first thing we need to do is add the PHP tags. So we add the PHP tags. Now another thing, we need to first of all call the global connection variable, which we have inside our conf db.php file inside the config folder. So we call the global variable connection, which is the variable that holds the connection to the database. Now the next thing is, if we go to our login_form, we see that the name of the login button, we called it login. Also here we can add a value and we call it login. So the ID which we have used in the JavaScript file, then the name login, we're going to use that inside the login.php. So what we're going to do is we are going to first of all check if this post request is set. If this post that we're having as the method here in the form, we're going to first of all check if it is set. So we do that using the PHP command is set. So we'll say if is set, and what we are passing in is the post super global. So $_post. Then inside it we pass in the name of the form or the name of the submit or the login button, and we called it login. So here we are saying if the form with method post which has a name of login, if it is set, then we need to perform the other functions inside of this if statement. So having this, the next thing we need to do is we need to get the data from this form or from this input fields. So we do that by first of all creating a variable. We can call it email_login, and we'll set it equal to the post variable or super global, taking the name of the form or the input field. Here we called it email login, and for the password we called it password login. So this one is going to take email login. Then the next one we can say pass _log in. We'll do the same, take the super global post, because post is, we use post for sending data, while get for retrieving data. In this case we are sending data to the database to retrieve the user's email and password. So here is going to be password underscore login. Now we've gotten the value from the input field, and we'll set it equal to this variable for email and this variable for password. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to clean these data before they are sent to the database. So for email, we can use a PHP function already called filter sanitize email. So we can create this and call it email equal to filter underscore var. Then it's going to take the arguments. The first argument is going to be email underscore login, and the second one is going to take the function filter underscore sanitize underscore email. For the password, we're going to use pass equal to mysqli real escape string. Then it's going to take in the connection and also the pass underscore login. So it's going to clean the password before it is inserted into the database or retrieved from the database. Then the next thing we want to do is we want to check if the email the user is inputting exists in the database. So we write a query statement. We say SQL underscore query, which is equal to. So we select all from sign up, where email in the database is equal to the email the user is imputing, which is email underscore login. So we are sending this query to the database. Then we use the query function mysqli underscore query to send this query we just wrote, and it takes the connection as well and also the SQL query. Now the next thing we want to do is, if an email exists, or if at least one email exists that matches this criteria, we want to return the count of the number of rows. And to return the count, we use the mysqli num rows. So we create a count variable and we'll say mysqli num rows, and it takes in the query. So this usually returns an integer. If there is at least one row that matches the criteria, it returns a value greater than 0. Else it returns 0. That means no row matches this criteria. So with this, we've gotten the count of the rows, that is the number of rows, and we've sent this query. In the next video, we'll continue working on this.